We're here with one of the most notable ufologists, in my opinion. I have it on good terms. He's good. And we're gonna be talking to Stan here, and I want you to explain to them who you are if they don't know who you are.
Well, I'm Stan Gordon. I'm from Greensburg, Pennsylvania, outside of Pittsburgh, and I've been involved in researching UFOs and Bigfoot and other phenomena since 1959. Been out in the field since the Kecksburg incident in 1965, doing first-hand investigation of UFOs, Bigfoot, cryptids, and other phenomena. And all the years I've been doing this, so it's 59 years this year, I've never personally seen a UFO or Bigfoot myself. I've interviewed thousands of people, I've seen a lot of evidence out in the field, but I've never had my own personal encounter. But year after year, reports are coming in from all across the state of Pennsylvania, people saying everything from UFOs to Bigfoot to what we call thunderbirds or giant bird sightings, Black Panthers, other weird creatures. And this year has been more than normally active, especially with Bigfoot activity, even right through the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. I think the Kecksburg incident was really a really cool incident. I remember watching, like I told you before, on Unsolved Mysteries. That was my first view of that. I'm like, this is a weird case. And the similarities, like we were talking about earlier, between it and the incident here in Flatwoods. I mean, yeah, that's you want to touch on that a little bit?
Well, yeah, it's interesting because, of course, 1952 is Flatwoods, and of course, as most people know, and I'm no expert on Flatwoods, but people saw a brilliant fire object moving across the sky. Something important fell into the woods. Soon after, they encountered some type of entity. Then they smelled a strong sulfur-like odor, and then after that, there was some military interest in the case. Well, with Kecksburg, you had multitudes of witnesses from Ontario, Canada, over Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania to see this fireball coming over. It apparently landed about 40 miles southeast of Pittsburgh into a wooded ravine. And when I found out, I've been investigating since the day it happened. And we know that some of the local residents went down into the wooded ravine and came across this large metallic acorn-shaped object semi-buried in the ground. So that's like a big off-gold bronze-colored acorn, metallic acorn, about 10 to 12 feet or more in length, about 10 to 12 feet in length, about 8 to 10 feet in diameter. Big enough for a man to stand beside it, but it's one solid piece of metal. There's no weld marks, no seams, no rivet marks on it, but on the raised up part of the back of the object, witnesses are only a few feet away from it said there's these raised up markings that look more like some type of ancient symbols. And what we know, and it's well verified because this story was picked up locally and nationally within a short time, and I interviewed multitudes of witnesses on the scene, including reporters, volunteer firemen, other authorities on the scene. The military was there. There was Army and Air Force there, there's no doubt about it. And the area was cordoned off. Nobody was allowed down to the wooded ravine, even though they didn't know about it, but some people snuck down and got there before the military arrived, and I found some of those people. And there were others who were watching the recovery operation down in the woods, and they didn't know that either, and I found some of those people later on, years later. And it's an amazing story because of secrecy. And some people, as this is being broadcast on Pittsburgh radio and TV about this UFO falling near Kecksburg, hundreds of people descend on the small farming community trying to get down into the woods. Well, a few of them did. Most of them were not able to access the area. Okay, but there's so many amazing stories. And some of these people at the time were young teenagers who tried to sneak down to see what the object was, and they were stopped by armed military personnel. And some have gone on public record and said not only were they stopped, but armed soldiers aimed their rifles at them to prevent them from going down other people's private property.
Yeah, this is someone else's private property.
So where did that jurisdiction come from? I mean, what was so important down there they want people to see?
Right.
And then we later learned from good, reliable sources, and various people separately confirmed this to me over the years, that there was a military flatbed tractor show. Actually, I found there were two of them on the scene that night, but the one with the object went out around 1 o'clock in the morning, and it went to Lockbourne Air Force Base near Columbus, Ohio. And I was told that they backed the military flatbed into a hangar, had a tarp over it. They set up a security perimeter around it, and they were given a shoot-to-kill order to anybody approach the hangar without the proper clearance. and then stayed there for a short time, then went on to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and was put into a particular building, not Hangar 18 that people thought, it was a different building. Now where it's at today, we don't know.
Wow. See, it's just an amazing case because you hear the explanation. It was possibly a crashed satellite. Well, government are obviously going to put up shooting orders over a satellite. At least we would hope they would. But it's an amazing case. And to talk to someone who's actually talking to these witnesses, you went out and actually found them. And got their stories on record, and that's what is the most important part of the whole thing. Really, is to get these witnesses, before it's all wiped out of history. And like you said, there's just so much we won't know, right? And it's inevitable, unfortunately. But what do you? Let's not even play speculation. But what do you think it could have been?
I still keep an open mind to all possibilities. There's still little details I've never released because I'm still hoping to get verification on. Over many, many years, there were certain little details that took me a long time to publicly acknowledge it, so I had enough confirmation from different people. And there's certain little details that I still know I haven't revealed. And there have been multitudes of theories from the time the incident happened. And even in the last several years, there's been more theories coming out. But they're theories, and they just don't fit with what we know. I keep an open mind to all possibilities. I've said years ago that it could have been a very secretive, man-made, very advanced project. But after so many years now, so many of those projects have been declassified. So much of the technology has changed, and could it be extraterrestrial? Maybe. Could it be interdimensional? Hey, who knows? We just don't. The more we know about it, there's just some really interesting aspects that we don't know. But I won't eliminate it that it could have been a very advanced, secret man-made probe. But again, we don't. I've got to keep an open mind to all possibilities until we really know the truth. And we may never know the truth.
And it's probably that. We won't know the truth. And there'll always be an area of speculation. But, that's one of the nice things about this, because the more witnesses that do actually come forward, they do come forward after they hear things like this. And that's part of your job. Your job is to get that story out there so more people do come forward and say, hey, by the way, I remember so-and-so had this experience. And,
Well, after so many years, unfortunately, many key witnesses have passed away. Many are up much older now, and a lot of them are beginning to forget, get details confused, which is why I documented this so many years ago. And but still, I go to events because I do a lot of lectures locally and around the country. And when I'm in the Pittsburgh area, some of these old timers will come up to me in their 80s, 70s, 80s, and their memory is very good, and they just made no big deal. But they said, I was there that night and I saw the army. I mean, people tell me the story every year. I still get these reports from people.
And the more open it does get, the more people will.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, they have a massive event there now, right? So
well, every year the volunteer firemen, Kecksburg firemen, have their Kecksburg UFO Festival. It's turned into a huge event. It's generally around the last week or so in July. It'll be on my website, stangordon.info. And people from all over the country come in for it now, and it's a great event because it's free. And people love it. They bring their kids, and there's ongoing events and paranormal investigators. We have the conference Sunday afternoon, which is free. And people just enjoy coming out every year.
Well, we definitely have to be there for that. Well, I'm not going to keep you much longer. I know there's a lot of people here. People just want to buy your stuff. So, especially your books. You want to grab your book, by the way. And,
well, this is the latest book. This is they're available on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com or my website. But this Astonishing Encounters of Pennsylvania's Unknown Creatures. And it covers not only Bigfoot, but it covers the Thunderbird reports, Black Panthers, and other very weird creatures such as the Butler Gargoyle, and weird things that many people have never even heard of before.
There's some stuff in here. I was just thumbing through it over there like, wow. This is, if you're into this kind of stuff, you want this book. Sure.
And this book is very, very popular. This is about the biggest UFO Bigfoot outbreak ever recorded. It happened back in 1973 and 74 in Pennsylvania. That's when I had my first research group, and I had a lot of scientists and research people involved. And various local authorities were calling my teams out to investigate the reports. And we were on the scene within minutes to hours, and it was amazing. Many daylight Bigfoot sightings, UFO sightings by the hundreds that year. And while we could explain many things we could not. but this has some of the strangest cases we ever read about with Bigfoot and UFOs seen together, tracks of Bigfoot suddenly stopping, vanishing, people shooting at Bigfoot and they're disappearing. I mean, there's things in here that gives you a whole different perspective on why there's no bodies of Bigfoot. And reluctant as I am to say it, and these reports, some are continuing, even in recent weeks in Pennsylvania, which suggests we're dealing with something, for lack of a better term, is interdimensional, which is why there's no bodies. It's amazing
Makes
stuff.
sense. Makes perfect sense. You see these things and then you don't see these things. That's awesome. So yeah, these are, you want to grab these for sure. You got Silent Invasion, and you've got Astonishing Encounters with Stan Gordon, and
Really Mysterious Pennsylvania. That was my first book, and it talks about many incidents where people were physically very close to UFOs and cryptids and Bigfoot, and you get very, very detailed accounts.
great. Oh, that's awesome, sir. It has been an absolute honor.
Thanks
You
for
have
having
no
me on the
idea.
program.
You have no idea. So absolutely, guys. If you happen to be at a conference where this man is at, sit down and actually have a conversation with him. Come over to the table. You're not going to find too many people who are absolutely inviting. Tell your stories. It only helps to get the pardon the pun, the truth out there, and that's what it's all about. So people like Stan are doing a great job, and we absolutely thank you.
Thanks for having me on.